I rarely do restaurant videos, but today I'm going to do a restaurant video because this is something I really need to talk about. And unfortunately, I may have to talk about this a lot more because things are changing. Do me a favor before we go forward, like, subscribe, and share the video. And if there's anything you disagree with in the video, please comment. And of course, if you agree, please comment also. But usually people like to bitch, and that's okay. So I have been in the restaurant business all my life, ever since I was a child. I'm still in it. I rarely talk about it on YouTube because my YouTube channel is sort of a hobby, and it's something that actually gets me away from the business. So that's why I don't talk about it. I don't advertise my restaurant on here. I have no desire to. I'm still in the business. I have a phenomenal staff, a phenomenal restaurant. And we do everything right. We really do. And I'm not just saying that. But the reason I'm bringing this up is our arch competition are the chain restaurants. Now, chain restaurants have always annoyed me because of the competition. And the thing is, the reason they're so competitive is they operate on a very small margin. They have about, some are 5%, most have an average 10% margin. So if anything goes wrong within that system, it can crush them. You're seeing that now. There's a lot of chain restaurants have gone out of business. A lot of full service chain restaurants have gone out because they just can't absorb the costs. Now, we're all struggling to get staff and to get managers and to get everything else. My managers are paid an exorbitant amount of money, which they very well deserve. But I'm fortunate enough that I can do that. A lot of places can't. So there are better options for employment out there instead of working in restaurants. That's just a fact. But one of the things that always impressed me about chain restaurants is two things, basically. First of all, the way they train their people. They have incredible training programs. We love to hire people, historically anyway, we love to hire people who had a long experience in a chain restaurant because they're highly trained. So it's very easy to just slot them into your place, give them, your ways of doing things, and then let them run. They're very good. They're very good with customer service and all that stuff. But that's changing because you can't get the right people. The other thing that always impressed me about chain restaurants is the fact that they're very clean. They operate under very strict, high standards. Now, here's the problem. I was in a chain restaurant. I'm not going to mention it because that's not what this is about. I was in a chain restaurant last night, and I just wanted to grab something really quick. And it's one of those systems where it's everything is wide open in there. Open service area, open. You can see the prep area. You can see the kitchen area. You can see everything. And I obviously I'm in the business, but you need to do this too, even if you're not in the business. You need to look for the small signs. So I'm looking over and I realize there's a dish sink, there's a dishwasher area, and then there's a sink with the drain boards, etc. The big huge stainless steel sinks. And it was beautiful. Everything was beautiful. I'm looking around the restaurant, everything looked and then I looked down below on the wall and it was just pure mold. And I was like, that is not cool. That is just not cool. And I don't know why this is happening. I know why. I know that they're understaffed. The staff that are there are overworked. The management probably don't care anymore because they know their jobs are going away or they know they're looking for a new career because the restaurant industry is in trouble, let's face it. But there's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that. And especially in what I would consider one of the better run chains. So if there's a break in that system, it's really bad. Anyway, I came home, and as you all know, if you watched any of my videos, I like to use artificial intelligence in video.ai to make some videos to kind of help bring my point across better than I'm able to. So I've created this video that's coming up next on many different things that you need to understand about the behind the scenes in a restaurant. Things that happen that you don't know about. Now, this is not an epidemic. It's not a widespread thing. But it does happen. And you need to know that it happens. And if you want to look for these signs, you want to go in, if you see a piece of dirt like I saw last night, a piece of mold that's underneath the sink, you do not want to go back to that restaurant. I'm just telling you. I'm not going back to that restaurant. But anyway, I hope you liked the video. It explains it better than I can. Thanks for watching. Video's coming up now.
Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into some behind-the-scenes practices in restaurants that might surprise you. We're talking about the kind of shocking secrets that would make you lose your appetite faster than a burnt pan of scallops. Let's get started. You drop a piece of food on the floor, what do? If you said throw it in the bloody bin, you're not wrong. But some restaurants I've heard operate on the 5-second rule. I've seen posts online, people claiming they've seen staff pick up dropped food, give it a quick wipe and send it out to some poor sod who's none the wiser. Are you having a laugh? This isn't a magic show, it's basic hygiene. Expiration dates exist for a reason. They're not bloody decorations, they're there to keep people safe, but some restaurants, I swear, treat them like suggestions. We're talking erasing them, rewriting them, anything to make that dodgy food last a bit longer. Ever wonder what happens to all those leftover burgers and bits and bobs at the end of the night? Well, some places get a bit too creative for my liking. Take Wendy's chili, for example. I've heard whispers that it's made from dried out hamburger meat that's been sitting around for hours. You think a fancy 5-star rating means your food is safe? Think again. I read this story from a kitchen worker who swore they saw mold being washed off vegetables before they were prepped. Washed off, not thrown out. This is supposed to be a professional kitchen, not a bloody swamp. You think salt and pepper are the only seasonings touching your food? Get this, the same bloke who told me about the moldy veg also said he saw waiters wiping the chef's sweat off the edges of plates before serving. Wiping it off, not washing the bloody plate. You're serving me food on a plate that's been seasoned with someone's perspiration. Get out. You're paying a premium for a fancy lobster dinner. You expect it to be fresh, right? Well, hold on to your wallets, because some places, even those claiming to be high-end, are cutting corners. I've seen posts online claiming they microwave their lobster instead of grilling it fresh. Microwaved lobster, it's an insult to the bloody crustacean. You know those cute little Gigi's cupcake shops? They look innocent enough, right? Well, one former manager spilled the beans online, claiming their fancy cupcakes were nothing more than rebranded Pillsbury products. Pillsbury? You're telling me I'm paying a $5 for a cupcake I could make at home for pennies? That's criminal. First impressions matter, right? So when you pick up a menu and it's covered in food stains, crumbs, and God knows what else, it doesn't exactly inspire confidence. If they can't even be bothered to keep the menus clean, what the hell is going on in the kitchen? This is basic food safety 101, but apparently some restaurants missed that day in culinary school. You'd be surprised how many places don't properly separate raw meat from other ingredients. One little slip up and boom, you're spending the night hugging the toilet. You send back a plate of food untouched, and what happens to it? Well, some restaurants might try to pull a fast one. They'll take that plate, recook it, and try to serve it to another customer. It's bloody disgusting. Ever notice how some restaurants hike up their prices, but the food quality stays the same or even gets worse? It's like they think they can get away with murder just because they added a fancy font to their menu. Complacency breeds mediocrity, and that's when you know a restaurant has lost its way. You wouldn't believe some of the kitchens I've seen in my time. We're talking floors you could lose a shoe in, grease traps overflowing with God knows what, and enough grime to make a health inspector faint. Ever watch those cooking shows and wonder how they get those dishes out so fast? Well, let me tell you, it's not always pretty behind the scenes. They're so focused on speed, they often sacrifice quality. Plenty of real-world restaurants are guilty of rushing food out the door, sacrificing quality for quantity. Ordering takeout these days can feel like a lucky dip. Ghost kitchens are popping up everywhere, operating without a storefront, which means you have no idea what the hell is going on in there. It's like playing Russian roulette with your dinner. You can tell a lot about a restaurant by the way they treat their staff. High staff turnover is a sure sign that something's rotten in the state of Denmark, or in this case, the restaurant. Thanks for watching. If you found this video eye-opening, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more insights. And remember, not all restaurants are the same. Many maintain high standards to ensure your dining experience is top-notch. But it's always good to be in the know to be able to spot the dodgy ones from a mile off. See you next time.